What's up, traders? Okay, so in today's episode, I'm going to give you my watch list for tomorrow morning and the game plan for the week ahead. Now, I've got some bad news. It's a 4-day week, which means we've got to make up for some lost time. So this is how we're going to do it. We're going to get focused on trading the highest quality setups bright and early tomorrow morning. We can't afford to mess around with low quality trades. Here's the problem. We take a low quality setup Tuesday morning, you take a big position, you take a loss on it, and now you're gonna spend the rest of the morning just trying to kind of claw your way back to break even. We've already lost one day this week. You're gonna lose a second day messing around like that. It's not worth it. So this is good. We're gonna focus on discipline, which means you're gonna have the patience, you'll need it, to wait for A quality setups. So what constitutes an A quality setup in this market? I'm gonna walk you through that in today's episode. Now, if you want to watch over my shoulder as I'm trading this week, you're welcome to do a 2-week trial here at Warrior Trading. It's $20 for 2 weeks, and that'll give you access to Day Trade Dash, this platform right here, which includes real-time market data. So I encourage you to start the 2-week trial tonight, sign your market data agreements. That way, tomorrow, bright and early when you log in, I start streaming at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All of the data will be coming through for the scanners, the news feed, and the charts. Now, for my chat room and my live audio video broadcast, you don't need to sign market data agreements, but you do for the other tools. So you might as well sign up, get it done, and do it tonight so you're ready to go for tomorrow morning. Okay, now, over the weekend, I uploaded a video on Trump coin, right? So this is a little bit of a distraction. Those of us who are trading stocks, well, some of you guys might trade cryptocurrencies a little bit. I had a friend who was telling me he was going to buy $10 worth of Trump coin. And I think, to be honest, you've got a lot of people that are buying very small positions. They just kind of dabble. It's kind of like, I think a lot of people think of it as just sort of buying a little lottery ticket. It's just sort of fun. Who knows what this does? These are meme coins. Most people, I think, understand this is not buying a share of Apple or, I don't know, Facebook or like a real company. This is just, it's a joke. It's just a funny joke. That's it. But what's real is that this has a market cap right now of $39 billion. Well, that's because it's got a 1 billion coin float, not a share float, but a coin float, and the price is currently $39. But you could see it peaked at about 75, did a double top, and then big flush. Now, some people were thinking, oh, that was probably Trump selling. But I don't think that there's any reason to believe that. I think that this most likely was people who accumulated way down here at the very beginning of the move who dumped, right? Just to take profit. This is kind of the thing that I'll say. And I did some research on this. So Trump hasn't sold any shares of Trump Media, DJT. So for those of you guys who have been following that stock since the special acquisition company, DWAC, back in 2021, this is something that we traded a bunch. And I had some great trades on this. When it was DWAC, it was like unbelievable. But anyway, so he has not sold any shares in spite of the fact that this constitutes a large portion of his net worth, at least prior to these coins that have just been launched. In any case, and in spite of the fact that it's been very volatile. I mean, it was at 100, then it came down to like $10, then it went back up to 80, then it came back down to like 10, and then back up to 50, and currently, then back down to 28, and then currently at 40. So in spite of all of this, up and down, he has been holding. What I suppose we don't know is whether or not he's borrowed money against those shares, which sometimes people will do, and they do that as an estate planning practice to avoid realizing capital gains from selling. So they'll borrow money against their holdings. I don't know how many banks would lend a significant amount of money for a meme coin holding, but he does, at least on paper, have a substantial position. And then, of course, we also had the news that the First Lady has her own coin as well. Of course, the market cap is significantly lower, $5.6 billion. Oh, my goodness. So they did 1 billion coins as well on this, and it's currently priced at $5.60. So anyways, I guess I was a little bit curious what this would mean for small caps this week. Will we see any small cap companies come out with sympathy types of headlines related to these coins? wouldn't think so, but you never know. Are Bitcoin or cryptocurrency stocks in general going to be strong? I think there's no doubt, and I've seen it online. Some of these exchanges reporting like huge influx of new users and applications and everything else. So, it's kind of getting people a little bit riled up. I've seen people being like, oh, I'm going to buy $10 of this coin, sort of as a joke. In fact, if you go to the First Lady's website, right on the website, I don't know if I still have it on my phone, you can buy with Apple Pay. You could just 2 clicks and you can buy some coins right there, which I don't even know how that works when it comes time to sell it. But I think that the majority of people that have been buying these coins are sort of doing it as a joke. They know it's not, I mean, maybe some of them are like, who knows, maybe this will go crazy. I've talked to some people who are like, I put $9.82 into it. Let's see what happens. Like, it's just sort of a joke. So are there some people that are making some serious money? I'm sure there's some people, but I don't think that's the majority of the people who are contributing to the buying on this. And maybe I'm wrong. So in any case, for those of us who are trading stocks, last week was a little bit of a slow week, but in spite of a slower week, I still locked up about $34,000 in profit, was green every day last week. Best day was on Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday were sort of smaller base hit days. So now as we're looking at the week ahead, my thought initially is, well, the S&P 500, the futures are up. So that's good to see. We know that Trump today, of course, his first day in office now has a ton of executive orders that, we're kind of getting. Some of them we already knew because he already said that he was going to do it, and others we're finding out about. So right now, I am keeping an eye on I'll keep an eye on the futures market, and I'll look at it early tomorrow and look at pre-market to see sort of what direction things are going in. But my gut feeling right now is that we should expect to see momentum in crypto names. Now, I'm sort of sad to say that because I don't generally find crypto stocks to be super easy to trade. BTCT was one on Friday that gave us a pretty big move. It wouldn't surprise me to see more action from it. If we go back to December or November, right after the election, this had a huge move from $1 all the way up to $27. I think this was actually one of my biggest winners of the year for 2024. So is it possible that we could get another move out of this? I mean, of course, it's not based on a direct news headline, but it would be, of course, based on the enthusiasm and sentiment around Trump being in office. And I think the sentiment that comes with the fact that he launched his very own coin. I mean, that clearly speaks to his enthusiasm in the crypto space. I mean, he's made virtually over the course of, 3 days, a paper net worth of 80% of, these two. Well, actually, I don't know how much he owns of this coin, but in any case, I mean, it's billions and billions of dollars. It's unbelievable. So if he wasn't a fan of crypto before, I can't imagine he's not now. And so the fact that he launched his own coin, I think also speaks to sentiment. So all of that is to say that it shouldn't surprise us if we see some momentum among crypto, blockchain related small cap companies this week and possibly, in the weeks ahead as well. So the first one that I would keep on watch would be BTCT, because that was the one that we traded quite a bit back in November and was active on Friday and is probably worth watching. Now, BTCS is another one, but this one has not been easy to trade, which is interesting. Similar, well, slightly higher float at 9.4 million shares. So slightly higher float. But this one, each time I've tried to trade it, I've gotten stopped out. I found it to be really tricky. So I'm not interested in BTCS, but I am interested in BTCT. So that's going to be the first stock on the watch list here for Monday. So I'm going to start making some notes here. Okay, so number one, BTCT, and then the catalyst, this naturally Trump sympathy, right? So, and it's a maybe. I'm not saying I'm going to buy this. I'm saying it's on watch for Tuesday, as a possibility. Now, our leading gainer on Friday was CHRO. This one, Channel Therapeutics, U.S. company, New York Stock Exchange listed stock. I prefer NASDAQ. as many of you know, but it's not a deal breaker that it's on the NYSE. But in any case, I don't love that current chart. What I like to do usually at this time is pull up my after hours top gainers scanner. And I'm just going to move the news feed down here just to give us more room on the daily chart. So VATE, oops, we got to sync this up. I always forget. VATE right here. This one, it's got some news, was up 50% in after hours, float 4.78 million shares, gets FDA approval. So as I look at this one on the daily chart, recent reverse split, well, somewhat recent. All-time high up there around 40. Of course, it's, because of the reverse split, it's at that price, but it's not far off the all-time lows. A little bit of resistance around 650 up around this level. So what was the pre-market or after hours highs? It was all the way up to 8. So a big spike and then kind of sideways. Wish the float was a little bit lower. We'll have to see. I won't be able to see right now if it's easy to borrow or hard to borrow, but it's something I would keep an eye out or an eye on Tuesday morning. One of the things that we sometimes notice with these is, for lack of anything else to trade, a pop on Friday can give continuation, sort of 4 a.m. on the following trading day. But I think because of the inauguration and the stuff with these coins, that's going to get more attention. I was just checking short interest here, only 6%. So it's not like, if it was like 50% short interest and it's up 50%, that starts to get also a little bit more interesting. So just kind of, layering on what supports this potentially moving higher and what's maybe holding it back. I don't know that I'm in love with it. The chart doesn't show any recent big moves really, a little bit there, but nothing that exciting. So it doesn't feel like it's a stock that necessarily has like big potential. And I think what we of course know about a lot of these companies is that many of them have a history of needing to raise money, and they do that through offerings. So there's always a little bit of skepticism. SPCB up a bit in after hours. Now, this one I mentioned last week in the Sunday game plan because it was doing this nice daily pattern, and it's gone higher. However, the volume, it's like not there. This is really tricky when stocks grind higher, but on light volume. It can be really hard to trust them. You've got bigger spreads. They're not easy. So I said 1080 was the level, and then 1260, and then that gave us room up to 2260. And all of that is still true, but we're lacking the volume. So the volume would come if this could get a really solid catalyst, a news headline, and it doesn't have one. So it's still on watch, but needs news. So I'm going to say SPCB, sort of just like, side chart stocks. So side chart on this one, VATE, side chart on that one. CJET, let's see, I jumped over that one. So CJET, up about 31%. The float on this one, 500,000 shares. The float on SPCB is also really low. CJET, though, this long history of selling off. I feel like that's not going to work very well without a really solid catalyst, and I don't see a solid catalyst on it. So I'm going to skip over that. So then we'll pull up the continuation scanner. So this is going to look at some stocks that have made big moves in the last couple weeks, and we'll just see if there's anything here that we should be paying attention to. So WLGS, yes, curling, but unless it can get through 575-ish. But if it could, I'll put it on a side chart. So WLGS, keep that on watch, just in case it can break out there. NUKK, well, so this one's not easy to trade because the spreads are too big. It's a little too expensive. And then we're back to SPCB, which we looked at, HEES, ACCD, floats are too high on those. USIO floats a little high. Staff floats lower, but history of these red candles on the daily. So, all right. My thought right now is BTCT is the one I'd be most interested in keeping an eye on Monday, and then Tuesday, And then outside of that, the game plan will be tomorrow morning watching this top gainer scanner right here. So having this real-time data so I can see which stocks are leading the market tomorrow morning is going to be most important. So let's say it was CHRO. I'll click on that. I'll see how much it's up. I'll check the price, the float, the gap percentage today, how much it's up. And then I'm going to look over at my news window and try to figure out what's the catalyst. I'm going to check the daily chart, look for levels of resistance. And if it all looks good, then I'm going to start watching for first entry. And I like to buy near $half and whole dollars for the move up to the next level. So I'll probably, if BTCT is on here, I'll be focused on it. Although realistically, because it was up 73% on Friday, I'm not sure that we're going to get another 70% gap. And usually the stocks I do the best on are gapping and up 50, 70, 100% or higher. So if something else can knock BTCT down and takes that top spot, then that's probably what I'll end up focusing on tomorrow morning. And this is one of the reasons why although I'm happy to do a game plan for the week ahead, on a daily basis, generally, I don't spend a lot of time building daily watch lists because the market will tell me in the morning what's moving, and then I just jump on what's moving. As a volatility trader, that is what makes the most sense. You could spend a lot of time analyzing daily charts, and then they just don't work because the charts that end up having these big green candles, well, where do those candles come from, right? I mean, they are the result typically of some type of news catalyst. So that's the plan for Monday, Tuesday. Watching the top gainer scanner right here and keeping an eye on BTCT, other crypto stocks to see if we have sympathy from these Trump coins, which we may have, and to see, who knows, if we get another Trump coin. We've got one, for President Trump and for the First Lady. Are we going to get a couple more? Or, Donald Trump Jr. going to get a coin? I mean, $5 billion a coin. Why not? Give everyone a coin. We should all have coins. So I don't know what's going to happen, but what's amazing is the fact that the float on Bitcoin is right now 19.8 million coins. That's the number of coins available to trade. And Trump is 1 billion. So it's kind of crazy how big of a float they have, and that it's still at these levels. But a difficulty shorting would probably be a factor in what's holding this up. So in any case, we'll keep it on a side chart. It's a little bit of a distraction, but it does have some relevance, obviously, and it probably will carry over to some momentum in the small cap market. To what extent, I'm not entirely sure. And sitting right now, 120,000 on the month with two weeks left. Of course, 9 trading days, but 2 weeks left, and we're going to try to make the most of it. So I will see you guys live streaming bright and early tomorrow morning. I will start my broadcast at 7 a.m. sharp. So make sure you are logged in. Hopefully you're doing a 2-week trial. You've got your market data agreement signed, so you've got access to the scanners, the charts, the news feed, everything else. And I'll see you in the chat room tomorrow morning. Thank you as always for tuning in. And I want to remind you, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, and there's no guarantee you'll find success, whether you trade with me or you learn on your own. So please manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.